What's up, guys? So this is the HQ section of the battalion of Space Wolves I'm running today. First we got a Rune Priest with a Runic Axe and Runic Armor, and he's going to have the Tempest Wrath and Fury of the Wolf Spirit's power. We have a Wolf Priest on a bike with the Wolf End Stone. And then the Warlord, kind of a weird choice this time, is going to be an Iron Priest. He's going to have a Tempest Hammer, the Armor of Rust, and he's going to be on a Thunderwolf. And the Warlord trait is going to be Saga of the Wolfkin. The troop section of the battalion is going to be 3 identical units of Grey Hunters. They each have a plasma gun in the unit, and they all have chain swords and bolters. For elites today, this battalion is going to have 1 unit of 5 Wolfen, 4 with Storm Shields and Thunder Hammers, and then we're going to have a Relic Sicaran with Las Cannon Sponsons. Alright, for fast attack we have a unit of 3 Thunderwolf Cavalry. You notice that they do not have any arms on them right now. I'm still modeling them. I don't really know what's the right loadout going forward, but I'm thinking it's going to be Storm Shields and Thunder Hammers pretty much all day. So we're going to run them this game, since they're all, you know, equipped the exact same. There's not really any room for confusion. We're going to call this blonde guy up in the front the leader. Alright, to round out this 1750 is going to be a unit of Longfangs with 4 las cannons. We're proxying this guy with the heavy bolter as the pack leader. Is not done with these heresy models yet. And then a Relic Leviathan with Storm Cannon Array and Grab Flux Bombard. The idea here is that the the Iron Priest on the Thunderwolf is going to be following this guy and healing some wounds. And if he does get charged, then I'm going to put that Tempest Hammer to use and heroically intervene. The Wolf Priest is going to be riding with the Thunderwolves, and the Wolfen are probably going to be outflanking. So here's the Death Guard.
Today I'll be running 1750 of Death Guard in a single battalion. Leading off the battalion is going to be my Warlord, who's a Chaos Lord with a Bolt Pistol and Chain Axe. Next is the Demon Prince with the Plague Spewer, Helpford Sword, Malefic Talon, and Wings. And finally is Typhus. The psychic power for the Demon Prince will be Miasma Pestilence, and I'm going to run Miasma Pestilence and Blades of Putrefaction on Typhus. For my first troop choice, I'll be running 7 Plague Marines, 1 Champion with Plague Sword and Plasma Gun, 2 with Blight Launchers, and 4 with Bolters. And finishing off the troop choices will be 2 squads of 14 Poxwalkers. My elite slot will be running 3 Fell Blight Spawner and a Biologist Putrefier, 2 Fetid Bloat Drones in the fast attack slot. For heavy support of 2 Plague Burst Crawlers. Both will have the Heavy Stubber instead of the Raw Hail, and both have the Plague Spewers, and a Chaos Rhino with Combi Bolter. Alright, and this is the deployment that we came up with. This is the Spearhead Assault, I think it's called. The big pointy 12-inch deployment here, and then a 18-inch space in the middle. The mission we're going to be playing is Cut to the Heart. It's the scenario 2 for ITC missions. So we got an objective here that is player place, objective in the center that's static, and another objective over here that's player place in both deployment zones. You get a bonus point if you hold the center one and your opponents at the same time. So yeah, basically I have masked all my stuff just kind of like right where the deployment zone edge is, and I'm just going to try to swarm as hard as possible. So I got the Foul Blight spawn back here, and these guys are just going to like go and try to take as much objectives and flame the fucking shit out of anything that's in their path. Did not decide to deep strike Typhus, so I'll see if he might get murked on like turn 2 or 1, so we'll see how that goes. And then just a little firing base with my Warlord back in the building here.
Alright, so Space Wolf thoughts before we start this game. I got these Longfangs up in this building right here. Sicaran back here with a nice little firing lane. Hopefully that'll deter him from trying to come up this flank. Got a big blob of Wolfen and Thunderwolves right in the middle. The Wolf Priest right next to the Leviathan and the Iron Priest, who's my Warlord. Back here, I just kind of screened out the Grey Hunters, although it didn't really matter now since Typhus isn't going to be deep striking. The Rune Priest is going to be here. Thinking he's going to be useful maybe turn 2 or 3. I'm just going to kind of try to use him as a reinforcement point. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty bloody. Everyone's pretty close already, so I guess you wanna do a roll off here, right in the middle?
Yeah.
So Ryan's gonna get the +1 since he finished deploying before I did. For a 4 to a 6, and will we seize? No. All right, so we'll be back after movement and shooting turn 1.
And also for the secondaries that we're picking today, I picked Butcher's Bill, Recon, and Marked for Death. I marked the Wolfen, the Leviathan, his Warlord, and the Longfangs. And he took Marked for Death. He marked my 2 bullet drones back there, the Rhino and Typhus, Big Game Hunter, and Kingslayer. So we'll come back to you after...
The Demon Prince is going to be the target for Kingslayer.
Exactly, yeah. So we'll come back to you after movement for the Space Wolves.
Alright, so Space Wolf movement is done for turn 1. The Wolfen advanced right up here, so they're pretty close. Looking to get a charge off here after the shooting phase. Leviathan and the Iron Priest, the Thunder Wolf rolled up. Rune Priest advanced up 9. These guys swung around, trying to avoid them getting bogged down by the Poxwalker, so I'm going to try to swing around this flank and hopefully kind of draw Ryan's movement out here. Everything else has stayed relatively put, except for this Grey Hunter squad over here. They've advanced out. So, end of Space Wolf shooting turn 1. The Leviathan Storm Cannon Array targeted these Poxwalkers and took 5 out. The Las Cannon Long Fangs in this building here targeted this bloat drone over here and took him down to 6 wounds, and then well, the Sakaran, yeah. And the Sakaran also opened up on the same model and took him down another one, so he's at 5 now. So it's not really impressive shooting phase, but Space Wolves aren't really a shooty army, so here's the assault phase. Alright, so end of Space Wolves assault phase for turn 1. Wolfen came in from right behind this building and did some work. They first came in and took this blood drone down to 5 wounds and killed some Poxwalkers. Then I spent some command points to make them fight again, killed the rest of the Poxwalkers, took another wound off of this bloat drone, and then consolidated into Typhus. Typhus struck back, killed 2 of them. Those 2, because of the Wolfen special rules, immediately swung again because they died, and took Typhus out. So I'm very happy with this first turn. The rest of the army is kind of way back here, not really doing much. But it was cool to be able to apply pressure really early on. This is the best first turn I've ever had with Space Wolves. So, so in the context of the game, I take 3 points. I have 1 for controlling this objective over here. I have 1 for killing a unit, which was Typhus, and Typhus was also one of the units that I marked for death. So here is Death Guard turn 1.
Movement for the Death Guard, turn 1. The Poxwalkers over here just moved in advance a little bit to get maybe closer to that objective or that terrain piece. The Rhino moved in advance over here and popped smoke. Before he moved, one of the Foul Blight Spawn in the Rhino got out. The other Foul Blight Spawn just kind of scooted up to hang out with these guys. Demon Prince flew over here to be in range of his Flamer, but also a charge next turn maybe. The Plague Witch Crawlers just kind of scooted around out of this cover, and Warlord stayed still, and I think that's about it. Oh yeah, and the blood drones flew across that and are in front of that objective with their sights set on this dude. So we'll come back to you after shooting phase for the Death Guard. And actually, in the second phase, the Demon Prince got off Miasma Pestilence, so he's -1 to hit. So now we'll come back to you after the shooting phase. All right, Death Guard, turn 1 shooting. These 2 Foul Blight Spawn unloaded on the Wolfen and basically melted them. These 2 Plague Witch Crawlers tried to just fire their big cannons into the Long Fangs up in the building. I think I only took 2 out, right?
2 are gone.
2 are gone.
3 remain.
These 2 bullet drones just try to focus all their flamethrowers on these guys. This guy is down to 2 wounds? 1 wound.
He has taken 2, so he has 1 wound
Taken
left.
2,
yeah,
so he's got 1 wound
front.
left. The Demon Prince ended up being out of range for shooting, and the front weapons on these just kind of tried to plink off wounds wherever they could. So yeah, we'll come back to you after the assault phase for Death Guard. Alright, assault phase for the Death Guard. I really only charged in this blood drone over here into the Leviathan, and he heroically intervened his character into him. They swung with everything and it only got him down to 1 wound, so...
Well, because of the relic, he was fighting.
Yeah, so he made him fight last and fought him, and then got me all the way down to where I only had 1 attack and didn't do anything. my plan was either to lock up this Leviathan or blow up, so I have successfully locked up the Leviathan so it has to fall back and not shoot next turn, so that's pretty cool. And that was the only thing that actually charged in, so we'll come back to you with turn 2 for the Space Wolves. And before that, just to tally up the score, Wes got kill more and hold for holding that objective back there, and I got a kill and hold more for having these 2 objectives. He also got the marked for death for Typhus, and I got a marked for death for the Wolfen. So it leaves us at a tied score so far. So we'll come back to you after the movement phase for the Space Wolves.
All right, so beginning of turn 2, Space Wolves movement. I have taken these Grey Hunters up from about here. They advanced 9 inches. I'm not really sure what they're doing yet, but I feel like there's no point of having 3 units of Grey Hunters back here not doing anything. So they might just get killed by a Demon Prince, or they might actually do something cool. We'll see. I decided to keep these guys in combat over here. I advanced the Rune Priest up to just behind cover, really just to get closer to that Bloat Drone to smite him. Everything else has stayed still except for the Thunderwolf Cavalry and the Wolf Priest. They moved up and they're going to try to charge this Rhino since it is marked for death. So we'll come back to you after Psychic and Shooting. Alright, so the end of Space Wolf, Psychic, and Shooting. The Rune Priest here managed to smite this Bloat Drone and took, what was it, 3 wounds off of him? 2? 1?
2.
2 wounds, yeah. Made one disgustingly resilient. And he also got Fury of the Wolf Spirits off on himself. The Long Fangs shot the Bloat Drone as well, and the Sakaran also shot the Bloat Drone, and they, I think, managed to combine to maybe 1 wound. So these things are tough and super annoying, and I have a feeling that he is going to get charged next turn. There wasn't really any other shooting to do since most things are in combat or about to be in combat, so kind of have a decision here. Both this Bloat Drone and the Rhino are marked for death. As far as my secondaries go, this guy's got 3 wounds left, but those Overwatch Flamers hurt. So I decided to stick with the plan and try to take out this Rhino. So we'll be back after the fight phase for Space Wolves turn 2. Alright, so Space Wolves turn 2 assault went pretty well. The Thunderwolf Cavalry just murked this Rhino. Unfortunately, all the guys got out and they're kind of staring down a big amount of guns over here. So they probably won't make it to turn 3, but you know, they do have invul save, so we'll see, hopefully. Over here, the Iron Priest took out the Bloat Drone. Both the Rhino and the Bloat Drone were marked for death, so I got 2 points for that. I got a point for killing something, and I have a point for holding this objective. So right now, I believe I'm at 8 to Ryan's 4, so this is Death Guard turn 2.
All right, movement phase for the Death Guard on turn 2. My Demon Prince just flew up onto this building over here. I foul Blight Spawn on this side. It moved in advance over here. Still not in range though. Couldn't really get him close enough, which kind of sucks. Poxwalkers moved over here on this objective again. This Plague Witch Crawler moved around the corner just to be in range of these guys over here. This foul Blight Spawn moved in advance over here to also be in range of these guys. This Plague Witch Crawler just stood still. Warlord's still back here. All of the Plague Marines, you can see there's some on the side here that are just kind of hanging out. They're technically in cover, we just couldn't really stand them in there. And then Foul Blight Spawn over here and Bow's Putrefire right there. This guy moved in advance about a 6, so 16, so you can say hi to those Long Fangs. I think that is about it. So we'll come back to you. Oh yeah, in the Psychic phase, he did smite onto this guy and just got 1 more wound off. So we'll come back to you after Death Guard turn 2 shooting. Alright, shooting phase for the Death Guard. All the big cannons over here went into the Long Fangs and I think knocked out like 1 or 2 of them.
I think there was 3, 2 are gone now.
Yeah, so at least 2 of them. The Warlord over here didn't do anything but buff that. The Foul Blight Spawn right here unloaded on the... What's the guy on the bike?
Thunderwolf Cavalry?
No, the
Wolf Priest?
Yeah, Wolf Priest. Unloaded on the Wolf Priest after the Flamers from these 2 combined knocked out the Thunderwolf Cavalry and took him out. And then the Biologist Putrefire actually did the finishing blow onto the Wolf Priest with his Hyper Blight Grenade. Did a pretty tactical misjudgment on like what was going on over here, so decided to fire over here with the double flamers onto the Long Fangs, expecting that I could probably take at least all of them out, and only left him at 1, and he popped the strat to make him a character, so now he's a character Long Fang. So the rest of these guys split fire. One of the blight launchers went into him, didn't do anything, and the plasma gun and the blight launcher and all the bolters went into him and brought him down to 1 wound?
He has 1 wound left, yeah.
1 wound left. So that kind of screws me on the marks for death for long fangs, and that is all the shooting. Also, the demon prince fired his flamer into this guy and didn't do anything. So we'll come back to you after the assault phase for the death guard. For the assault phase, my demon prince failed the charge down this building and over to this guy. So that is it. We'll come back to you after the movement for the Space Wolves turn 3. Turn 3?
Turn 3?
Turn 3. And before we start the third round, a quick recap on the score. So as it stands, we're tied on the primaries because I hold 1 and he holds 1 over there. And we both killed something, we both hold something, so we're tied on that. And he got 1 of his secondaries, 2 of his secondaries in this round, and I got 2 of mine for recon and Butcher's Bill, and he got his for Mark for Death. So we will now come back to you with Space Wolves movement for turn 3.
All right, welcome back. Turn 3, Space Wolves. Top of turn 3. All right, so I am kind of in a weird situation here where I don't have a ton left, but I do have kind of a plan here. It's really just going to depend on the shooting phase. So the Leviathan moved up with the Iron Priest to claim this middle objective. He's going to try to take out the Demon Prince over there. There's a squad of Grey Hunters back here that can help him do that. And then can't really see, yeah, this character right here is now in range of the Flamer and Melt-A-Gun. The Rune Priest moved behind cover over here, so he can't be targeted next turn. I don't think he's in charge range even if I moved. These Grey Hunters moved up to try to put the coffin nail in this bloat drone, and that's about it as far as movement goes. So we'll be back to you guys after psychic and shooting. All right, guys. Space Wolves turn 3, kind of uneventful. Knocked a wound off this Demon Prince here with the Leviathan. Tried to kind of split fire between him and this character near this building, but didn't really manage to accomplish too much. I think I knocked a wound or 2 off the character over there as well. Took care of the bloat drone over here, which in turn force blew up and killed my Lone Wolf Longfang. Took a few Plague Marines out on cover over there with the Sakaran. I did max out on Mark for Death, but I don't really have much left in terms of charging, so it's really just down to a shooting game now. But I did pick up 3 points this turn, so now I'm at 11. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
Cool. So 11 to 8, so we'll be back to you with Death Guard movement.
Movement for the Death Guard on turn 3. My Warlord just kind of came out of this building here. The 2 Plague Burst Crawlers scooted up around this building so I could get the Flamers in range of the Leviathan. This Foul Blight Spawn moved in advanced, this Foul Blight Spawn moved in advanced, and that one moved in advanced. The Putrefier just stayed right here, and the Plague Marines stayed in cover. The Demon Prince just came over here. He is most likely going to die this turn, so just getting him to where he has like a 0 chance of failing a charge. And that is about it. So we'll come back to you at the end of the psychic and shooting phase for the Death Guard. Shooting for the Death Guard in turn 3. All the Plague Marines and the Flamers from this, and these 2 Foul Blight Spawns over here unloaded onto the Leviathan. Brought down to 1 wound now. The Demon Prince came down here and stuck his Flamer into this guy. He's got 3 wounds left. I got off Miasma Pestilence in the psychic phase for him, so he's -1 to hit. The big cannons over here totally whiffed completely, didn't do anything. And I just kind of like moved these guys over here by the way, so they're in a straight line. I think that is about it. So now we're going to get into the really dicey part here. So both this Leviathan and his Warlord are marked for death for me, but I fight last, so this might be a gamble. So he's got the separating plate, so I can do mortal wounds back on a 4-up. But if he kills me and then I don't get any saves, then there's no mortal wounds anyway, and then he gets marked for death. So we'll come back to you after the assault phase for the Death Guard. So for the Death Guard assault phase, I only charged in the Demon Prince. He fought last, but he was -1 to hit. The plinked him down to 5 wounds, but the retaliation took out the Warlord and didn't do anything to this guy. So as it stands, the Leviathan has 1 wound left. This guy has no wounds taken. The Sakaran is beautiful and untouched. Wes held 2, so he held more. I held 1, but I killed more. So, and as it stands, that was my mark for death with the Warlord. So it's getting pretty dicey. We'll see if Wes can bring it back on turn 4. So we'll come back to you after movement for the Space Wolves.
All right, guys, this is Space Wolves turn 4. We kind of wrapped everything up into one short video here. We did movement, we did psychic, we did shooting. So the Sakaran moved up and took 6 wounds off of this Plague Burst Crawler.
Yeah.
And then took another wound or 2 off of this character right here. The Grey Hunters moved up over here and tried and failed to take a wound off of this other character here. The Leviathan brought him down to 1 though, although now Leviathan has 1 wound left, so he's probably not gonna see the end of the next turn. The Rune Priest here smote the Demon Prince down to 2 wounds. Now this Demon Prince is my Kingslayer model, so I already got points for taking him down to 2. If I can kill him this turn, I think it might put me back in the running to maybe tie. We'll see. I don't think I have a chance at winning, but we'll get back to you after combat. All right, into Space Wolves turn 4. This Rune Priest managed to hack up the Demon Prince, and that got me Kingslayer. Unfortunately, he's in range of 2 Flamer dudes that have been putting in work this whole game, and the Leviathan is down to 1 wound. So we're gonna go to Death Guard turn 4. I did pick up 4 points this turn, so I am in the lead. It just really depends on dice, really. I mean, if this Leviathan gets killed, hopefully he can blow up and take these guys out with him. So we'll see. We'll get back to you.
Movement for the Death Guard. So the 2 Plague Burst Crawlers just kind of, this one actually stood still. This one crept up. The Warlord moved in advance. The Biologist Speechfire stood over here. He's not really doing much. The Plague Marine just stayed over here in cover. Moved in advance of both of these guys, and moved in advance of this Foul Blight Spawn, and the Poxwalker stood still. And there's no psychic phase, so we'll come back to you after the shooting. The shooting for the Death Guard turn 4 is done. The Leviathan has been taken out, did not explode. And I had 2 more of these guys that could unload into this character here. So that is what we're gonna call it, because it's pretty much a guarantee kill more, and hold more. Pretty close game though, because it ended up being 15 to 18 in my favor. But there's not really much left on the board for Wes to bring it back. So calling it on turn 4, it's a pretty good game though. I feel like ITC scoring is a lot more fair, so even if you get obliterated, it still ends up being like a pretty fair battle because you're scoring the entire time. Yeah, so the Space Wolves cannot take it this time, but I'm sure they're vying for revenge and they'll be back soon. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for watching.